people. We're going to bring people that we know are going to make us, or at least get us a chance to make a little money. Let's put it this way. The weather was terrible. We had the hurricane looming, a nor'east. We caught the back end of a nor'easter. Yep. It was 60-mile-an-hour winds. It was 40 degrees and raining. It was absolutely horrible. We had to compete with that. FanFest
in New York City.
MSG had a live show with WWE yesterday.
It was PWS.
We had PWS doing a major show. And so we had to compete with all that, and just majorly the weather. A lot of those people don't drive.
Yeah.
They carpool, they take buses, or they take trains to the buses.
Exactly.
So we had to compete with that, and for the fact that we did so well,
knowing
that it was not a great turnout.
Yeah.
And then we went to Warriors of Wrestling, and we brought Bob with us as well. We did very well there, and it was not as big of a crowd that he would normally have. Again, because of weather and because of WWE and PWS. Even though
I was just going to say, Warriors of Wrestling did better than PWS
had a larger
last
crowd
night.
And didn't have to shell out as much money.
Yeah.
And, all in all, we made, this time we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Will we make the right decision all the time? We hope so.
We hope so, but you learn from mistakes. And you know what? We're just going to take what we learned yesterday. We did great yesterday. We're going to take what we learned yesterday, and we're just going to bring it on to the next. Because we sat down, and Kev called me one day, and he's like, who can we bring in for legends? And he looked through the WWE encyclopedia, all that jazz, and it was like...
we wanted someone who hasn't been around much. Someone who's not active. Someone that is in the WWE encyclopedias. Someone that people haven't seen in a long time, but that would definitely freak out knowing that they were going to be there.
Wow, this person's going to be there.
And, we went back and forth. We got a friend of ours, Dave Mucciarello. We got him on the line from MZ Promotions.
Yep.
We got him involved in the conversation. And we went through the Rick Martells.
Yep.
We called him. He wasn't available that weekend.
Yep.
We tried to get in touch with Frenchie Martin,
yep.
Dino Bravo's old manager. Yep. He never returned our call. We got in touch with Jacques Rougeau. He's out of his mind. He wanted way too much money.
Yeah.
And first class seats from Canada. Jacques Rougeau. The Mountie.
Oh, the Mountie.
Former Intercontinental and former Tag Team Champion.
And it wasn't just about who can we bring in that the fans would draw to. It was all about what can we realistically afford where we're not going to take an absolute killing.
But we still wanted to give something to the fans.
To the fans, exactly.
Like all those names I just named, they're all in the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And they're never around.
Yeah.
Probably because of the price, but... but these guys have lives. Not every former WWE superstar lingers around the business for another 40 years.
Right.
Some of them disappear.
Yeah.
So, Jazz was brought to the show.
Yep.
We just interviewed her a couple of weeks ago. She hasn't been in the picture in a long time.
She looks completely different, too, which is...
But it's still her, though.
Yeah, it is. It's still her.
She turned around, she pulled up my shirt, and I turned around, and I looked at her immediately. I was like, whoa, Jazz.
Yeah.
I immediately knew, and I didn't realize how tiny she was.
She's a lot shorter than you would actually thought. I realistically thought she was going to be 5'6", 5'7", and
she was tiny.
Yeah, but
she was awesome.
Great.
She was so happy to meet us. Oh my God, I'm putting a voice in the face. And stuff. It was so awesome. We took pictures, and so it was pretty cool.
But and then Kev gave me a call one day. He's like, "What do you think about Cowboy Bob Orton?" I was like, ding, a light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, that's the one. That's the one.
Of course, Dave Mooch recommended him, and I said, all right, let's do a little research, and I hit up Google and YouTube, and started typing in his name and the years and see if anything popped up, and he did a couple years ago. He did a signing with the late Roddy Piper, but it was at a wrestling show.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't a convention. And the last time he did was almost 5 years ago.
Yeah, I think he said 4 or 5 years ago.
So I was like, it's due. It's due. And to get to what we were talking about before, when we said we had someone that asked us to bring him to Big Event in March 2016.
Yeah.
He hasn't been there in New York at a convention in New York for almost a decade.
Yeah.
So Cowboy Bob Orton asked us to bring him back.
And that's what we were talking about before. Yeah, it's just such a great feeling to have.
It was a total step back. Like reality.
He turned. Like Kev was sitting to my left at the point, and Bob was to my right. And Bob turned to us. He goes, "Yeah, I haven't done a show in New York in a long time. This and that." He goes, and I was like, "Yeah, big events in Queens in March." He's like, "I'd be more than happy to come with you guys if you're okay with that." I was like, "Am I okay with that, Bob? Of course we want you to come."
And that's the kind of when reality set in. That like, you know what, we did it.
We made a good impression on him.
We did what we were supposed to do. Not only we made money, but we made a great impression on a Hall of Famer. We took care of him. We did the right things by him. We did the right things by the company. And of course, we did the right things by us.
Yep.
You know, making sure we didn't embarrass ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think people started to notice that. Like, I think people started to notice that, you know what? We might be a force to be reckoned with in the conventions because everybody was coming over to us.
Yeah.
Flocking over to us. People just, you know, occasionally I'd see on Facebook talk to other promoters. They were coming over to see Bob Orton. They wanted to talk to Bob Orton, take pictures of Bob Orton. You know, they were asking us, how you guys doing? We're doing great. They're like, oh, that's awesome, you know? And they were all, you know, we had a nice corner, which, again, I got to thank everybody that organizes and puts together Legends of the Ring Fan Fest convention.
Yeah.
Because every single show we've been to, they've given us a great spot.
And it's not necessarily, it's not only just who you bring and everything, it's where you're seated in those types of places. And we had the premium spot. We had one of the best spots in the house.
I agree. And Richie DeGreg even said that. He goes, every single time I looked over, he goes, there was like 30 people in your area just hovering around your table.
Whether they stopped and got an autograph or not, they were at least coming by. They said,
and we were a multifaceted corner. We weren't we didn't just have like people sitting on the table. We had the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstar as part of our table. So he had all the figures out there of people in the convention. So he had that going. You know, we had Casey Carlisle. She had her whole array of 8x10s going.
Yep.
We had we had an empty seat where Just Incredible used to be, sitting there, and then and we had Cowboy Bob Orton. You know, and we had cowboy hats on the table. And we have 8x10s. We had 4x6s. We had. We just had a bunch of stuff. We had
action figures.
LJN 1980s figures. We had current ones. We had sealed ones. It just, you know, it was just a great experience. And then, you know, we left a little early because it was really...
People started winding down at like 1:30, and we stayed till
3.
We stayed till like 2:15ish.
It was starting to get, you know, get like ghost town, and so we packed up, and you know, we were like, all right, we're standing there, all of us, you know, the Funkenstein group, us, Bob, Casey, and we're like, where can we go? Like, we need to go somewhere. We got to get something to eat, but I don't want to go. It was nowhere around there. I mean, if anybody knows the
Monroe, New Jersey
area where the hotel is, Jamesburg is one direct. There's just nothing in that area. It's a very corporate area. So like. And plus, we didn't want to sit in a hotel and eat, you know? We kind of wanted to get out of that.
Get out of there.
Because if you sat in a hotel and eat, everyone's going to come over and bother him.
Right, yeah.
So, we didn't want that. So, we hit up the old Reliable for me, because I used to live in that area briefly in Staten Island, the Huguenot area. So, we went to Villamonte on Arden Avenue. So, if we got out of the car, it was instant hilarious, because we, like, walked out, like, there's a Warriors of Wrestling poster
on the
front door. And I'm like, hey, Bob, look, you're on the door. You know, so we got a kick about that. And we walked in, and the owner immediately, first of all, I know the owner, so he immediately saw me, but then he saw Bob. Immediately. Because Bob Orton still looks like Bob Orton.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's recognizable.
You know, and if anybody has seen Bob Orton, he looks more and more like Randy Orton now than he did when he was younger.
Yeah.
So now, and even he has a smirk.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh my god, that's Randy Orton. My god, he does it on Monday Night Raw. It's like the same, like, it looks like a sarcastic smirk.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of scary. So, but you know, we walked in, we sat down, I was just messing with the waiter.
With the waiter, yeah.
I was like, you know, make sure you take care of this guy over here. And we looked at him, and he was like literally looking at him like, I know this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton. And his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree. And he was like, oh my god, it is. And I'm like, it's Randy Orton's
father.
And he was like,
No.
"Oh my God, it is! Like, holy cow!"
He was grinning
what's
from
going
ear
on?"
to ear.
So he was like, "Oh," he said, he like literally, he took all our drink order, brought us our drinks, and literally ran to the other side of the restaurant to tell the pizza maker and the owner. And, the owner came over. He's like, can I get a picture with him? I was like, bro, you do whatever you want. You want a picture?
We got you.
I was like, I go to the car. I'll get a couple 8x10 so you can hang them in the restaurant.
Yeah, we gave one to him, one to the waiter.
So, I was just like, just let us eat first. So we ate, and it couldn't be any more gracious
service.
It was the service was great. That they were awesome. They hooked us up with free bruschetta for appetizer. They gave a couple free drinks,
free beers to myself and to Heather and Dan. Casey.
Yeah, Casey and Dan, and
damn, where was I?
And then the kid, we're all ready. We're full.
We're ready to go.
And they bring out a plate of free cannolis. So I was like, oh my God, you can't leave cannolis on a table.
That's what I said. I look at Dan and I was like, Dan, I am so full. But they put a plate of cannolis in front of me. Anybody who knows me, I'm Italian. I can't turn down cannolis.
You can't. It's a sin.
It is a sin to turn away cannoli.
Like I would never go to church, but if I didn't eat one, I probably would have had to go and apologize.
But it was just so nice of them to. I mean, we had a Hall of Famer and this and that, but they could have just like said, "All right, awesome, like thank you for coming, like this and that," giving us like one, like maybe, hey, like your the appetizer's free. They took care of us with drinks, the appetizer, put desserts in front of us, and I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to bring any home for JT and nothing.
Sorry, JT. We weren't bringing home for anything. That was just going to be there, like, completely empty. It was delicious. But it was so great of them to do. And then after Warriors of Wrestling, we went to the diner, like always.
Yeah, we went to the Mike's
Olympic Grill.
That
wasn't there again.
And, that's our normal spot after Warriors of Wrestling show. And it's, again, we walked in and they know we're bringing talent. So when they saw him walk in with us, they knew he was somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't know who told him. I don't know, maybe Richie went and, told him. He was like, we had dinner. There was, 15 of us.
Yeah, about 15 or so,
and, it was Charlie Haas, Shelton Benjamin. Everybody knows them as the greatest
tag team in the world.
Team Angle.
Team Angle, yep.
And Bob Orton and Casey. And then, some of Richie's family and, our group. And, we all had a cool, nice dinner together. And there was a lot of talking and banter going on, a lot of joking around going on. And, and then they were Shelton and Charlie were chatting it up with Bob as we were getting ready to leave, and Charlie Haas came over and shook my hand. He's like, "Thanks for the support and everything."
Yeah, him and Shelton shook our hands before they left.
So it was a really nice night. But again, the owner of the diner, hooked Bob up and Casey up with a couple free drinks and just like overextending of gratitude, like thank you, they're gonna in our end of the show when we do our thank yous, they'll all be in there.
Yeah,
but it's just like it's the appreciation of, I guess, continuous business, going back there all the time, and just bringing people in there. I mean, I can personally tell you there was times that we went to the diner after a show. We brought people in there, and it was cops having dinner.
Which
and
there was
and they were starstruck. They came up. They're like, "Oh my God, Chris Masters is here."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh my God," and they would take they were like, "Can we get a picture with him?" And of course, I was waiting for Richie to say $20. But they took pictures. Like, "Hey, it's great." You get starstruck, and it's pretty awesome. So we're gonna take a commercial break. When we get back, we should be joined by Bonnie Maxon. And, if she's a little late, we'll get right into Warriors of Wrestling. But we don't have any recap for Warriors. We're just going to tell you that, we had a great time and all the cool matches and all that fun stuff. But sit back, relax. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
This is Lanny Poffo, formerly the genius full of glory and renown. You are listening to Damage 365 Radio.